What if the earth could speak to you through the moon? Have you felt a restlessness in your body without knowing why? Have you woken up in the middle of the night with a strange feeling of being about to remember something very old? Tomorrow, when the moon touches Taurus, a sacred frequency that your soul knows will be activated, a key that opens dormant portals in your energy. Dolores Cannon said, "The body remembers what the mind has forgotten," and this is one of those moments. But beware, there's a reason why this transit isn't like the others, and what it can reveal to you will not be soft, but it is profoundly necessary. Have you felt a strange restlessness in your bones lately? As if something beneath your skin is stirring, yet you can't name it? Have you found yourself waking in the middle of the night? Not with fear, but with a quiet urgency, like your soul is trying to whisper something you've forgotten. This isn't coincidence. This is a signal. Before we go deeper, I invite you to pause for a sacred breath. If this message is already resonating with something deep inside you, don't keep it to yourself. Subscribe now and leave a comment below, sharing what you're already sensing in your body. This community grows when we rise together, because what's about to happen on September 14th, 2025 is not just another lunar transit. It is a sacred orchestration. A cosmic alignment so precise, it could only be the work of something divine. Tomorrow, as the moon enters Taurus, your sign, you'll feel the earth speaking through your body. But before that grounding can anchor your spirit, there is a storm that must first move through your energetic field. And the storm begins tonight, while the world sleeps. At 1:20 a.m., Venus in Leo clashes in a tense square with Black Moon Lilith in Scorpio. A powerful friction between what you consciously long for and what your shadow secretly craves. It's a collision between your desire for peace, love, and connection, and the wild, raw, unspeakable parts of you that have been buried and denied. You may be dreaming when it begins, but your energy body won't be sleeping. This encounter unlocks something deep in your subconscious. Old shame, forbidden hunger, suppressed power. You might wake up feeling unsettled, maybe with fragments of dreams about people you haven't thought of in years, maybe with a tension in your chest, or a strange sadness you can't quite place. That's your shadow knocking. That's your soul saying, "Are you ready to see what you've been hiding from yourself?" And just when you begin to feel the weight of that internal tension, a second cosmic wave will rise. At 6 a.m., the Sun in Virgo forms a direct opposition with the North Node in Pisces, an undeniable karmic checkpoint. You'll be faced with a choice: stay in the comfort of familiar patterns or leap into the uncertain calling of your soul's highest path. This moment is not subtle. It's not gentle. It asks for courage. It demands honesty. By the time the moon enters Taurus at 4 p.m., you'll have already traversed two invisible thresholds, the shadow and the crossroads. And now your system will ache for one thing: grounding. But this grounding isn't an escape. It is the sacred soil in which the trauma, the insights, the karmic clarity of the day can take root and transform. Taurus, you will feel this more than any other sign, not just in your mind, but in your body, in your breath, in your spine. Your bones will long for stillness. Your skin will crave safety. Your hands might seek out the softness of familiar textures. Your mouth might hunger for something warm, earthy, nourishing. This is not mood. This is not weakness. This is ancient intelligence awakening. You are not breaking down. You are being rewired. Because the moon in Taurus is not just emotionally grounding, it is exalted here, meaning it functions at its highest vibration in your sign. And that's not accidental, it's orchestration. This lunar alignment arrives not to make you feel comfortable, but to make you whole, to give your nervous system the strength to process all that was unearthed in the unconscious during the night. And that is why you may feel unusually tired, or oddly overstimulated, or inexplicably relieved, as if some invisible pressure is finally being released. Because it is. This is not the day to push. This is the day to listen, to your body, to your dreams, to the silence. Because the earth is not just under your feet, she is in you. And as the moon kisses Taurus, she reminds you of that. If your soul felt this message, if you've been sensing the tremors beneath your skin, I invite you to anchor this truth in the comments with a sacred decree. I return to the earth within me. I remember, I ground, I rise. Write it, breathe it, feel it. The universe is already listening, and tomorrow, your body will know it too. Have you ever stared into space for no reason? In the middle of a conversation, at the edge of a thought, as if some part of you slipped between the layers of reality? Tomorrow, Taurus, that's exactly what will happen, but it won't be random. You are about to experience sacred disconnections, moments when your consciousness detaches from the external world, not because you're distracted, but because your soul is busy doing something far more important behind the veil. These moments may come quietly, at dawn, at midday, at dusk, especially near 4 p.m. when the moon enters your sign. You might feel your gaze blur. You may forget what you were saying, or feel as though the world slows down for just a second too long. These are not lapses in awareness. They are spiritual recalibrations. Here's why. Between 1:20 a.m. and 6 a.m., two powerful energetic activations will unfold while most are asleep. But whether you're dreaming or tossing in bed, your subconscious will be wide awake, absorbing encoded instructions from the higher planes. First, Venus squares Lilith, confronting the wounds and desires buried deep within. Then, the Sun opposes the North Node, shaking the foundation of your karmic path. Your body may not understand what happened, but your soul does. And like a computer rebooting in the background, your consciousness will begin to shift resources. It will take energy away from the surface and redirect it inward into your inner temple, where the decoding begins. And that's when the silence comes. That's when your system goes offline, not to escape, but to integrate. This isn't dysfunction. It's divine design, because the magnitude of what you'll process tomorrow isn't just emotional. It's vibrational, ancestral, cellular, and the body, your body, Taurus, is the chosen altar for this sacred work. So if you find yourself drifting tomorrow, let it happen. Don't fight it, don't panic, don't try to force your focus. Instead, ask gently, what part of me is waking while the rest of me goes still? What truth is rising in the silence? These breaks in your attention are actually portals, windows for divine wisdom to stream through. And Taurus, you are uniquely equipped to hold these frequencies. Your earthbound nature allows you to anchor truths that others only glimpse in dreams. But it requires trust. It requires surrender to the fact that healing does not always look like effort. Sometimes it looks like emptiness, like not knowing, like stepping away from the noise, so something deeper can speak. This is where you are headed, and the deeper you go into yourself, the more you'll feel your inner soil shifting, the land within you cracking open to release old roots and make space for something new. This may bring tears without context, fatigue without cause, insights without logic, but all of it is sacred. None of it is wrong, because this isn't just a lunar transit. It's a day of energetic harvest, of reclaiming forgotten pieces of yourself scattered across time, memory, and dimension. And Taurus, you are not here to rush this. You are here to feel it fully. So if your soul wants silence, give it silence. If your body wants to rest, let it rest. If your eyes drift to the horizon, stay there a moment longer. The universe is whispering in the stillness, and your spirit remembers the language. There will come a moment tomorrow, perhaps in the afternoon, perhaps right after that strange silence, when your body will begin to speak louder than your mind. You may feel the sudden urge to step outside and put your feet on the ground. You might crave a hot meal, slow-cooked, rich in scent and warmth, or feel drawn to textures, fabrics, smells, as if your skin itself is listening. Do not dismiss this. Do not call it mood. This is the voice of the ancient Taurus inside you, the one who remembers that the body is not separate from spirit, but the altar where spirit becomes real. When the moon enters your sign at 4 p.m., her exaltation in Taurus doesn't just stabilize emotion, she brings a calling into the body, a gravitational pull toward the earth, toward slowness, toward what is tactile and true. But this isn't about comfort for comfort's sake. It's about integration. If you felt that even for a second, the pause, the pull inward, the sense that something is shifting, then this message is meant for you. Don't just listen, become part of the space. Subscribe and let your voice be heard in the comments. What are you remembering right now? Because all that was awakened in the early morning, the unconscious conflict between Venus and Lilith, the karmic reckoning from the Sun and the North Node, cannot remain theoretical. Your system cannot digest cosmic wisdom unless it has a container, and that container is you, your flesh, your senses, your breath. So yes, you may feel the need to prepare your favorite meal, to curl under a weighted blanket, to light a candle and sit in silence, letting the flicker draw your attention like a sacred chant. This is not laziness. This is not escapism. This is spiritual strategy. Because the moon in Taurus teaches that the divine lives not just in the heavens, but in the softness of your pillow, the way the sun touches your skin, the aroma of something baking, the feel of cool floor under bare feet. And tomorrow, those moments won't just feel good. They'll feel necessary, because you've been carrying the weight of invisible shifts, because your nervous system has been stretched by frequencies it barely understands, because your subconscious has been laboring all day to align timelines and clear patterns. And now your body says, let me help you hold it. Taurus, you are not here to bypass the body. You are here to honor it as divine. You are here to remember that rest is not resistance, it's resilience. That nourishment is not indulgence, it's medicine. That beauty is not distraction, it's alignment. You may find yourself seeking out nature without planning it. Your hands may instinctively touch a leaf, a stone, a piece of wood, as if something ancient is guiding them. You may turn off your phone without thinking because the silence feels sweeter than the noise. Let it happen. Let your body lead. Because while others are still spinning in the mental chaos of unprocessed awakening, you, Taurus, are returning to the oldest wisdom of all, that the earth heals, that slowness reveals, that pleasure, when sacred, is prophecy. So don't apologize for needing grounding tomorrow. Don't rush to perform or explain. Just let your senses root you. Let your breath bring you back. And as the moon in Taurus wraps you in her silent gravity, you'll realize something powerful. You're not just receiving energy, you're becoming it, somewhere inside you. A quiet tension has been building, not loud, not dramatic, but steady, persistent, like a whisper beneath your heartbeat. It's the space between what you desire and what your soul requires. And tomorrow that space will stretch wider until you can no longer ignore it. Because this lunar movement isn't just about grounding, it's about revelation. And what it will reveal is this: you've been holding on to something, an image, a plan, a comfort, not because it feeds your soul, but because it feels safe, predictable, familiar. But Taurus, is it true? Is it yours? Tomorrow, under the influence of the moon's exaltation and the energetic waves stirred by Venus squaring Lilith and the sun confronting the karmic North Node, that false safety may start to tremble. You may feel confused or irritated. You may notice yourself resisting things that used to comfort you, or longing for things that don't make logical sense. That's the soul breaking through. That's the truth bubbling up from the earth inside you, asking, what are you afraid to admit? Because it would change everything. This is where Taurus often finds the deepest struggle, because you are wired to create stability, to maintain, to protect. You are the roots that hold the forest still. But sometimes those roots become chains. Sometimes what you built to feel safe has become a cage. And the moon in Taurus, especially following the storms of the early morning alignments, doesn't just comfort, it illuminates. She casts light on what you've outgrown, on the habits you call routine, but are actually rituals of avoidance, on the relationships you call loyalty, but are actually resistance to change. And here lies the tension. You want peace, but your spirit wants evolution. And those two are not always the same. So tomorrow, don't be surprised if old desires rise like ghosts. The longing for a past version of love, the temptation of a familiar indulgence, the echo of a plan you once believed was your future. But now, they feel heavy, or hollow, or just not you anymore. Because they're not. What's happening is not regression, it's recognition. You're not being pulled backward, you're being shown the split between who you were and who you're becoming. And yes, it's disorienting. Yes, it might feel like grief, because letting go of a false comfort is still letting go. But Taurus, what awaits you on the other side is not chaos, it's truth, it's alignment, it's the stillness that comes not from control, but from clarity. So ask yourself, what patterns have I called normal just to avoid discomfort? What desires have I honored that never really fed me? What do I cling to out of habit, not love? And then breathe, listen. Let the answers rise not from your mind, but from your gut, your chest, your skin, because the body never lies. And as the moon moves through Taurus, she will ask only this: will you choose the illusion of safety or the risk of truth? Only one of those paths will bring peace, the real kind, the kind that doesn't just feel good, but feels right. What if this whole journey, the silence, the disconnection, the longing, the discomfort, the craving for beauty, for rest, for something real, wasn't a sign that something is wrong, but that something sacred is coming home? Because that's what this lunar passage is, Taurus, a homecoming, not to a place, but to a frequency, to a version of you that the world may have never fully seen, but that your soul never forgot. The moon entering Taurus tomorrow isn't just an astrological event. It's a ritual of remembrance, a soft yet undeniable shift that says you are allowed to feel again. You are allowed to want slow, true, deep things. You are allowed to stop pretending that rushing is power, because power, your real power, has never lived in your speed. It lives in your stillness. It lives in your ability to hold the sacred ordinary, to sense meaning in the mundane, to find heaven in a well-made bed, a home-cooked meal, a word spoken with care. And now, finally, your soul is ready to reclaim that power. But it doesn't happen through force. It happens through permission. You must let yourself be changed by the dreams that shook you at dawn, by the tension that asked you to choose, by the cravings your body whispered all afternoon, by the truths that rose, uninvited but undeniable. Because this moon doesn't ask you to fix anything. She asks you to listen to the parts of you that have gone unheard for too long, to the versions of yourself buried beneath performance and survival, to the memories stored in your skin, to the future that's been waiting patiently for you to remember who you are. Taurus, this is the day you begin to return, not to what you were told to be, but to what your spirit has always known. And when you feel that grounding come, when your shoulders drop for no reason, when you take a breath and realize it's the first deep one all day, when your feet press into the earth like roots growing back into something ancient and sacred, that's not just presence, that's integration. That's the divine saying, you've survived the shift. Now let it remake you. This is not an ending. This is the anchoring of a new cycle, one that begins not with effort, but with embodiment. So move slower tomorrow, speak softer, touch with awareness, choose what brings calm, not chaos, what brings peace, not performance, what brings you back to you. Because when the moon touches Taurus, your spirit remembers its shape, its depth, its rhythm, its root, and from that place you rise, not in noise, but in truth. If your spirit is still vibrating with this message, don't let it fade into silence. Anchor it into reality by subscribing to this channel and leaving a sacred comment below. Tell us, what truth did this awaken in you today? Your words may be the echo someone else needs to find their way home.